The MG Show. What real independent journalism looks like.
Smash that like for the MG Show. Subscribe now. Ring that bell. Let's go. Smash that like for the MG Show. Yeah. Let's
go. What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Welcome, everybody, to the MG Show as I try to fix this microphone. How are you doing today, Shady? Welcome to the MG Show. It is Tuesday, May 19th.
I'm doing wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. The microphone is working, if that matters, so you know I can hear you perfectly.
And I'm wearing a gray shirt today.
And that's a nice black shirt you have on.
Trying to show you guys that
we are stuck in a corner, ladies and gentlemen. Today on the MG Show, we are arguing about our apparel, and we are having a discussion about how the environment that we work in prevents Jeff from being able to wear any shirt other than the black shirt.
I know, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. We're all concerned about that, by the way. Like, there's a whole thing on the dark web.
And we really want to just let you guys know that the word of the day is...
Oh, Lord.
Pinecone.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right, Shady, that's the word of the day.
Pinecone.
Here we go.
Okay.
Hello.
If you know, you know. All right.
I mean, if you don't know, there's something going on. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So...
Pinecone.
Was on Fox News when Trump was talking ill about
Pinecone.
Pinecone equals Thomas Massey. If you know, you know. Now you know.
Now you know, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, they interrupted, by the way, Fox interrupted Donald Trump's
Pinecone.
press conference to interview
Pinecone.
Unbelievable.
Guys, do you guys know who Pinecone is?
Should we do like
Answer
a
the
poll?
question. Answer the question.
Should we
All right.
Pinecone.
So, Pinecone is going to get primary today. Kentucky, 4. Get out there. Vote against Thomas Massey and get Ed Gallarine in. Gallarine. We need him. United States of Q. Here's a little tariff money. Stay golden, my favorite, too, crew. $100 Rumble rant, my brother.
Whoa,
wow. God bless you, man.
Wow.
Java Joe stepping up in here. 5 subscriptions, too, Shady.
Nice. Thank you. Everybody, like I'm telling you guys, I go out there and I look at other stuff on listen, I go out there and I look at other podcasts, Jeff, and I see no red castles. I don't see any other broadcasts that have red castle. I see like 1 or 2 or 3. People come here to this show. They're like, man, everybody in the chat is a subscriber. Yeah, because we're awesome over here at the MG Show. You know why? Because we have guided ourselves out of the, quote, morass of the globalist agenda and their numb-nutted ability to fool us with their psychological operations. They can't do it. Why? Because we can simply go and check the facts. It's not really that hard. That's all we do.
You know, I have a question, Shady.
Uh-oh.
Who had an egg-shaped pine cone? Is a pine cone the same as an egg shape?
I would say similar, yeah.
So
Pinecone.
it's a family thing. It could be a family thing.
I mean, he does kind of look like Epstein, doesn't he, Massey?
And he is trying to project
Pinecone.
Epstein onto Donald Trump 24/7.
Eggstein.
So, you know, there's very possible that Epstein and Massey are brothers. That's that's a theory.
It's only a theory.
It's only a theory.
He was executed and replaced at Gitmo.
Yeah, both of the brothers.
Here and say that lie. Yes. Oh my God, you guys. All right, Pinecone's time is up, says Caesar Girl. You're right, Caesar Girl. Pinecone's time is up today. Polls close at 6 p.m. Kentucky time, guys. If you're in Kentucky 4, District 4, get out there and get rid of that.
That's only 6 more hours.
Pinecone.
Yeah. Well, this is a big one right here. I think that, you know, we pulled it. The whole network has made the statement, Jeff. The whole network has made the statement that if they lose this, then Israel owns all of America. That's what they're going to do. So as soon as Massey loses this tonight, that is exactly what your whole friendly network of pine cones are going to do.
So you got Ilhan Omar endorsed Massey, AOC, New York Times, all the people that we hate. Endorsed Massey.
Code Pink. Yeah, I can't leave that one out.
United States of Q threw another hundo. Screw it. What? Here's another hundo. Thank you so much, United States of Q, bro. Wow. God bless you. Oh,
man,
my God.
We love you guys. Thank you so much. That man, like, this is it really that hard to have a good attitude about life? You know, I mean, even whenever life's trying to beat you down, it's really not going to get you anywhere to have a bad attitude about it. And look at all of these people, these InfoWars, nasty mouth, gross ass people. They've been calling us homosexual slurs for like literally 7, 8 years now. Well, they're all proven to be currently. Yeah, well, can you see them? Yeah, the Nazi is showing through and through, no matter what side you're on. The Democrats project that you're the Nazi while they plant Nazis around you so that they can point at them and you say, no, we're not Nazis. They're like, oh, yeah, but what about this guy wearing the Nazi attire? It's like, oh. Yeah. But that guy's not part of me. Oh, this guy. Oh, they put them all around us and then and then it's a wrap-up smear.
So listen to me. So we've got the Democratic Maine Senate candidate, Graham Parker, who has a Nazi tattoo on him.
Yes.
And he deleted a bunch of Reddit posts revealing graphic posts about masturbating in portable toilets and praising explicit military restroom graffiti. Who else posts like that, Shady Groove? All of these anons that were surrounded the Q movement?
Literally every Flynn digital soldier that came to a keyboard ever.
So the latest trail in growing vulgar comments that could define his race against Susan Collins Plattner is dismissed past controversies, joking and poop posting. Okay, that sounds just like an anon on the boards, doesn't it, Shady?
It sure does.
Huh? Yeah. So Maine Dem wrote about
that guy. Looks like Massey too.
Yeah, I mean, my God,
he looks like Swalwell Massey combo there.
So did Q warn us, Shady Groove? We were talking about this morning.
Yes.
Real quick, Yao Ming, outstanding truth being taught on the MG show. So what I was doing is I was like, wow, so SPLC funded Nazis. So were we surrounded by them? And remember the Q post that I was in, Shady? Let me grab it real quick because it's nothing to see here, Shady.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, and there's, I think, 44 nothing to see here's.
Nothing to see here.
So let me just go here and real quick, let me just grab it. Let's see. This is right here. Okay, so this is talking about the playbook. Okay, new playbook needed. We need you, right? This is about, You know, the contractors, were the contractors Nazis? Shady. You see what I'm saying? Like, very interesting. So new playbook needed. We see you. My Twitter. Do you believe in coincidences? Think of context. Nothing to see here. Not see. I don't see. I don't see anything. Do you see it? Not see. I didn't see it. Do you see it?
Not see.
Pretty interesting now, isn't it?
I think this is amazing because whenever we were reading this stuff, and if you go back before Q, I'm not making a joke whenever I explain to you that currently your reality looks like Chambord circa 2015. This is the conversation that you're seeing about all of this stuff on Twitter that they're doing about hateful rhetoric toward Jewish people while they leave out the real elephant in the room, which is the big cathedral thing over there in Rome. They leave all of that out. None of that. Don't look at any of this while you look over here at Jewish human beings and try to weaponize society against them. You're not pointing to a enterprise whenever you say Jewish people or Israel. Israel is a country. Okay. So is the Vatican. Okay, the Vatican is a lot smaller of a country than Israel, if you know what I'm saying. And the Vatican has influence on every single country. Literally, they have outposts. So think about a church like a post, like you would think of a trading post. Well, they have outposts around the whole planet. Nobody looks at any of these people, but it's the Jews.
Yeah, and it's all on the Chan boards. It's all on Twitter. Let's take our friend who we thought was a friend back in the Q days, iPod. iPod is a raging Nazi now.
Literally, like, not a person that says that, oh, Hitler was controlled by the elite globalists to create World War II. No. Hitler was doing the right thing.
Yeah. Hitler
was creating. What are you talking about? Oh my God! Like, they are really kettling people into these thought forms, guys. This is why, Jeff. This is why education for your children is the utmost importance, and you shouldn't be having absolute ridiculous people worried about their sexuality and dressing up as women when they're men and talking about all this other nonsense. You got way too much discernment to learn in a classroom to deal with any of that, but they're throwing all this garbage at you so they could create a society of stupid people, because a society of stupid people will be drug addicted, they'll be worthless, they'll be unmotivated, and they will not know anything about politics, but they will have an opinion on everything.
Yeah. Moody Magpie says something pretty interesting. Vatican created Islam. Muhammad was a white dude. But you said Vatican created Islam. And the Nazis, okay?
That's
the
right.
Pope supported the Nazis. The Nazis piped in the Nazi rhetoric into the Muslim area via radio, guys, okay?
Vatican or globalist? Globalist, Vatican, Nazis. Globalist, Vatican, Nazis cartel. KKK, globalist, Vatican, Nazis. There is no difference, guys. The Christians that decided to leave Europe to come to America were fleeing the church. You could say they were fleeing the king. BS. Everybody that left Europe to come to America was fleeing the Pope. Okay? That's why we got America to begin with.
Yeah. Yao Ming, thank you so much. Outstanding truth being taught by the MG Show. Thank you. And Jersey Talks, welcome to the stream. 5 subscriptions for you all out there. Thank you guys so much. We've got President Trump visiting the ballroom, guys. And Fox News, we were talking earlier, interrupted this as soon as he started talking ill about Pinecone Massey, Shady.
And then they went straight to a live shot with Thomas Massey to promote himself from today.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, the same thing.
But no, you didn't say they went to a live shot with him. You said that they interrupted him before Trump talked about Massey. That was like Trump was still talking about Massey while the Fox News decided to interview him, guys.
Right there. Yep.
Crazy.
Jabba Joe, $100 Rumble rant. Wow, guys. Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm fired up today, aren't I?
We're fired up today, guys. All right. Let's check this out over here. Here we go. And by the way, we've got JD Vance presser, hour number 2.
The old presser.
Hundreds of millions of dollars already in the ballroom, and it's coming out, I think, incredibly. We have some renderings of the finished product. It's all knit together. And the top of the ballroom is a what they call a drone gallery. We have tremendous amounts of military able to be on the top. It'll be the highest point. It'll be actually higher than this building across. Sight over Washington, so that's important. But it will be something very special. So if you look up at the top, you'll see some interesting things, and I'll show that to you in a second. You want to grab that, please? I'll show that to you in a second. The facade of the building. There will never be another building like this built. That I can tell. I built a lot of great things. But there will never be anything like this built. And what we have is the roof is dead flat with absolutely nothing but strength on it. It's very strong steel. It's drone-proof, and it's meant for our military to be able to stay on it. You get a view of Washington. Also, for the drone building capacity, some of that takes place right down here. You can see the very large piping and the other things. It's a very complex building. It's all knit together. The roof goes with the ground floor. The ground floor goes with the roof. The roof also goes down into the basement. Everything is connected, intertwined. Elevators, heating, air conditioning. It's one building. That's why we're trying to explain that. This is one well-knit building. One thing doesn't work without the other. Very importantly, though, in terms of the beauty, probably the closest thing to this would be the U.S. Supreme Court, the facade of the U.S. Supreme Court. So here's a couple of things you can look at. How are you? There will never be another thing like this, I don't believe, built from a court standpoint. This is all my money and donors' money. This is tax-free. So everyone's talking about they're going to give money, they're going to give money. The money they're going to give is really for the security of that and the whole White House premise. And I guess you probably need that now.
I think he ran for president because he wanted to build us a
We've
ballroom.
done the fencing on the outside of the White House. It's all titanium. You see the black fencing. That's been just done recently, and it was approved originally by me, and it's been completed, and it's very powerful. Very powerful. A tractor, a bulldozer cannot knock it over. It goes down deep, and it's titanium, which is the strongest of all of the metals, much stronger than steel, as an example. The ballroom is all, it's going to be a tremendous thing. As an example, what happened a couple of weeks ago at the White House Correspondents' Dinner could not happen here. One thing that we have is we don't have people living above it. We don't want that. That's no good. They have 1,000 units above it with the elevator coming right down next to where the convention or whatever it may be is. So this is a room that's been wanted for 150 years by presidents. We have no room to have an event. The only way you can have an event is if you build a tent on the lawn, and the tent would not do the job. And by the way, if it rains here, because this is built on a wetland, the lawn is impossible to deal with. The water goes over everybody's shoes. It literally goes over the shoes. So, and they've had a lot of catastrophes with the tent. So we have this, and if you take a look at this section, this is the different facade. So this is a Greek. More or less, it comes out of Greece. This is the ultimate facade for Greece. This faces the Treasury building. This is a different facade. That's Rome. And that faces the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, etc. So you have two facades. Primarily, you have two entrances. You have here, you have here. But the primary entrance is through the White House, directly through the White House. And it's really something. I think you can see the complexity. All of these columns go directly up to the roof. And the roof is a barrier. It's a shield because it's made out of, the sidewalls are steel, impenetrable steel, and also impenetrable glass. The glass is approximately 4 inches thick. And yet it's amazing. You can see through it as though it didn't exist. It's amazing. And it can stop just about anything. just about anything. On the other side of the glass, we have steel and concrete, so that the glass is very powerful. What's holding the glass is equally as powerful. And that's here. You can see they're just about ready to go up to the top. All of these columns, they go directly right to the roof of the building. And again, we call it a drone port. It's set up for unlimited numbers of drones. Purposely, we don't have any air conditioning equipment up there because we don't want anything coming down through the pipes. If anybody gets, normally you'd have a lot of air conditioning equipment on the roof. We built it all inside the building, inside the case of the building, because we don't want to have anything having to do with air or air quality or any problems playing with the air. So you'll notice it's a dead flat roof with no equipment on it. All of the equipment is inside of the building, and that's for safety reasons. Normally you'd do it a lot less expensive. You'd do it a different way. So all of this was paid for by myself, and because I keep hearing like, we are making a gift of this board. This is a gift. This is not going to be paid for by the taxpayer. We have a judge that thinks it's a terrible thing that we're making a gift.
Thank you.
He said it's terrible that we're making a gift. It should be paid for by the taxpayer. That's one I've never heard before, but I'm sure maybe, I don't know, maybe he doesn't understand. This is a gift to the United States of America. And more than a gift, it's going to be one of the most beautiful buildings that's ever been built in the country or in Washington, D.C. So here's the other facade, you see over here. And again, this is taken, these great classical buildings get taken out of different parts of the world from very glamorous times. This is Rome. They like the flat roof. Greece likes
Where were we just talking about,
the triangles, and you see that. This is a porch
facing
that
Rome.
looks out over the city.
Wow,
Also,
and then the
it's developed
L'Arc
in
de
such a
Triomphe.
way that we can have military in, but the entire roof is developed for military. It's very high. They're higher than just about anything else. They have a 360-degree vision of Washington, D.C. They have a massive drone capacity. Not only is it drone-proof, if a drone hits it, it bounces off. It won't have any impact. But it's also meant as a drone port, so it protects all of Washington, the roof of the building. Okay? Now,
guys.
If you want, you can take it out. I think you can bring your cameras up. You might want to take a look at the...
So let me get this straight. On the tippy top of the new ballroom, we have a drone port that will protect Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and you saw a little clip of that. So we did play you a highlighted early release clip of that yesterday. It was actually showing it from the ship, but that was the future ballroom right there. That's going to be bing, bing, bing.
Bing, fire, boom.
Complexity. These are all different rooms down here. They're building a hospital. They're building, it's a military hospital. They're building all sorts of research facilities. Also meeting rooms and rooms that go hand in hand for the military using the ballroom. And the ballroom is really a shield and protecting all of the things that are built here. This goes, as you see, it's already up to the ground. This goes down very deep. You get a better view right over here. This is down because we've already done these floors. But these are already down 2 floors. It's down about 6 stories deep. That's big stuff. Build a ballroom, you build it flat. You just build a ballroom. It would have been built.
What with the audio, people?
It's all knit together. Between the drone proofing, the missile proofing, we have, and the drone capacity upstairs. We can have all sorts of military up with it. I hate to use the word snipers, but we have great sniper capacity. It's built for our snipers, not the enemy snipers, our snipers. And because of the height, we get a very clear view of everything all over Washington.
Sniper, no sniping.
You mentioned that this is being paid for out of pocket, but why is Congress in pocket? Explain sort of the difference.
Well, they're not. Congress is approving, Congress is approving money for security. It may go, some of it may go here for additional security, I don't know. But Congress is approving money, but this building, I mean, I put up the money, built this building, along with a lot of great patriots. I've put up a lot of money to build the building, And we have a building that is going to be, I think it's going to be potentially the most beautiful building in all of Washington. And
By
with
far,
that
by
is
lot.
great military capacity. We're building it in conjunction with the United States military and the Secret Service.
Approve that money, can this project still be completed?
Well, they have a budget in Secret Service and the military to do some of the work that you see right here. So the answer is, I think they want to enhance what you see. It's very powerful. You see what's happening. It's very powerful concrete. It's 9,000-pound concrete. That, if you know anything about contract. But they probably want to enhance the area. They're going to spend money. This is a very sacred piece of land. This is the White House, and they want to do things. But everything that you see and the money that's being put up to build the ballroom, and again, the ballroom, it's necessary for the ballroom to be built with what you see over here. It's all knit in. The air conditioning, the heating, the drone capacity, the shield. You know, the ballroom becomes a shield for everything that you see right here. Without that, they couldn't have this. They couldn't build the lower floors. Without that shield over the top of it, it's a shield that will totally protect what's downstairs. They have a lot of things going on downstairs, and some of it you see. This goes down 6 stories because it's already been built. This will be, very shortly, this will be in the form of, the roof goes along this line. Basically, it goes outside. You see where the wood is. You're going outside of that line, and then it goes straight up. And it's all protection, and everything's together. You can't build one without the other. And what we have is we have the safest building ever built, in my opinion. You can have, and you know, the other thing is, when we're right on budget, we're right on plan. The only budget change would be that we doubled the size at the request of the military. We doubled the size, but we're right on budget, right on plan. And originally we were going to build a much smaller room, and it wouldn't have done the job. It just wouldn't have done the job. You have too many events. Like if we have President Xi coming here, we have no place to put him. We had the King and the Queen the other day, and we had 1,000 people wanted, and we ended up having 100 people sitting in a very small room. We've been after this for a long time, but maybe more important is the safety element. This is a shield. It protects everything that's inside, everything that's on top. And, you know, obviously the White House was built in 1792. You know, it's awfully hard to do that kind of a capacity that we did here. So this will give future presidents, but you have to understand, when this is finished, my term ends shortly after that. This is really for other presidents. This is not for me. This is my gift to the United States of America. I'm going to be able to use it very little, because when it's finished, we're talking about 6 or 7 months. But it will be used for hopefully hundreds of years for other presidents. And there will never be anything like this built again. There'll never be a room built like with the safety. As an example, if we had the White House Correspondents' Dinner here, it would have been no problem.
When it opens, you'll have about 6-7 months. Have you thought to that around that time?
I better not tell you about that, Daniel. But yeah, we have. Everybody wants to be here for the first event. We're talking about heads of nation, so we have some very special places that it could happen. You know, if we had literally Queen, where we had this finished, we would have had an event that would have been 10 times the size. I mean, we're in a little room in the White House. Presidents, now we're not even talking about safety. Presidents have been asking for this literally from the time the White House has been built. But on record, for 150 years, they've said, what about a big room? And you all know, you probably attended, they have some where they use tents. If it rains, it's a disaster.
You mentioned that this is going to be a gift for America, for future presidents and the country. What's your hope for America?
We will have to have a safe country. We have to have a great country. We have to make sure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon. All of the things that you see me fighting for so hard. And it's always tough. You know, we're negotiating with Iran And then you have the Democrats, I call them the Democrats, putting in a bill that Trump should immediately stop. You know how it is to negotiate with a country where you're beating them badly? They come to the table, they're begging to make a deal, because they're begging to make a deal. I hope we don't have to do the work, but we may have to give them another big hit. We may have to give them another big hit. I'm not sure yet. You'll know very soon.
All right, breaking news. Trump mentions it later on in this broadcast here that we're watching him in the ballroom. Breaking news. President Trump just officially endorsed Ken Paxton of Texas for senator.
Good.
Boom.
That's good. Well, you know that. Have you noticed, like, they're talking about the few $1 million that are being used to beat Thomas Massey in Kentucky, but nobody's talking about the hundreds of $1 million that John Cornyn has been throwing towards that election from the same exact people.
Yeah.
I'm glad he. I think that's a good endorsement. I'm thinking that that's going to make everybody happy.
The highly respected Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, an America First patriot, and someone who has always been extremely loyal to me and our amazing MAGA movement, is running for the United States Senate to represent a place I love and won big 3 times with 6.4 million votes in 2024, the most votes in the history of the state by far. I know Ken well. Have seen him tested at the highest and most difficult levels. And he is a winner. Ken is a strong supporter of terminating the filibuster and, very importantly, the Save America Act, something which polls at 87%, including Democrats, and yet can't seem to get approved. Perhaps Ken can help move these important elements of government forward because with the filibuster, as an example, the Democrats will terminate it on their first day in office, giving us 2 extra states, D.C. and Puerto Rico, and greatly enlarging the Supreme Court of the United States, possibly going with their dream number of 21 justices from the 9 that we currently have. And these new justices will be radical left lunatics. 2 years ago, our country was dead. And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I want to keep it that way. Ken Paxton will help me do that, making America bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Ken is a true MAGA warrior who has always delivered for Texas and will continue to do so in the United States Senate. He will tirelessly fight to continue the great growth of the economy, cut taxes and regulations. I just delivered the largest tax and regulation cuts in American history. And advance made in the USA. Wow. Isn't that that's not rocket science. I mean, shouldn't we just buy stuff that's made here in the USA, right?
Yeah.
Right. Advance made in the USA. Unleash America energy dominance. Champion Texas oil and gas. Advocate for American farmers and ranchers. Promote school choice. Keep our border secure. Stop migrant crime. Support our incredible military veterans. Safeguard our elections and protect our always under siege Second Amendment. John Cornyn is a good man, and I worked well with him. But he was not supportive of me when times were tough. And despite having the most successful economy in the history of our country during my first term, and with all the many other things that I accomplished, secure the border, military dominance, Space Force, all-time high stock markets and 401ks, record job and economic growth, and so many other things that would have been impossible to readily list, which are considered by many to be legendary, John was very late in backing me in what turned out to be a historic run for the Republican nomination. And then presidency itself, both of which were landslide victories and, more importantly, gave us the country that we have today, the golden age of America. And when we finish up with Iran, which will not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, you will see the numbers that you have never been generated by our country before. As opposed to the disaster of the previous administration. Ken Paxton has gone through a lot in many cases, very unfairly, but he's a fighter and knows how to win. Our country needs fighters and also loyalty to the cause of greatness. We can never be allowed what happened to the United States of America during the corrupt Biden administration to happen again. In Texas alone, just look at the border with the highest level criminals allowed to run through your state, totally unvetted and unchecked, through an open border policy that was a laughingstock all over the world. I came in and fixed it immediately. I will not permit those dark and dangerous days to come back. We have already made America great again, but now we want to make our nation better than ever before. Therefore, Ken Paxton has my complete and total endorsement and will be the next United States Senator in the great state of Texas. Ken Paxton will never let you down. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Wow.
Yes. Again, you know, what we're setting up here, and I think that this is very interesting right now to see the correlation between, you know, what he said right there, because they're all like, oh, this is just Donald Trump wanting to have himself a party house in the ballroom. And he's saying right there, I'm not even going to be able to use this. This is for the people coming after me. And then right there, you're seeing where he's talking about Ken Paxton. He's talking about the future of the country. And what I don't think a lot of people are realizing is the weight of Donald Trump, no matter what, for the rest of his life, will be exactly like what it is right now. He comes out to endorse somebody and says that they have his endorsement. That person is going to exceed to more than likely have a very, very large likelihood of being elected.
Yeah.
After Donald
Just look
Trump
at what happened this weekend, guys, and look what happened in Indiana. He is going like what 9-0 the other day.
And think about it after he's not the president. Even you see, look at the way that we can set up the country for the future. He's picking these people and he's putting them there so that if Ken Paxton, for instance, wins the Senate race when they're in November, then guess what? He's going to be a senator for 6 years. 6 years goes past Trump. So you see what I'm saying? He's putting people in place. He's putting good House members in place that can continue to win elections. We've got to beat these people that are right here at our feet out of the political system. And the only way you're going to beat these people that have billions and billions of dollars is to throw money at the situation and you go full bore with the candidate. But then whenever you give the candidate money to try to beat them, they mock you and say, oh, look, he's putting all this money in here trying to beat me. You guys made it a contest. And so then whenever we compete, you say that us competing and the way that we compete is the problem. You see what I'm saying? That is just like a Democrat. That is a way they want you to play their rigged game. This is their way of getting you to play their rigged game. Donald Trump is like, you know what, to your rigged game? Take a hike. Go take a long walk on a short pier. We don't want it anymore. We want justice. We want rule of law. And we want things done right. And we want things built with a good foundation. And watching him do all of those at the same time while everyone else cries is absolutely amazing.
Oh, these liberal tears taste delicious, Shane.
They're liberal tears. They're libertarian tears. They're neocon tears. They're like, Nazi tears. They're KKK tears. They're
ADL,
cartel.
SPLC.
Cartel.
Yeah,
cartel boats go boom. Cartel tears. We got Iran tears. Like they're the whole damn Navy's at the bottom of the sea. They're down there trying to get it to float. Won't float. Oh, Air Force decimated. Lots of tears coming out of Iran. Think about that.
It's almost like, and we're talking about it too. I was watching local news. It looks just like they're on the side of Iran.
Of course they are.
This is my country. Get the hell out of
Massey.
Here. Yeah.
Pinecone.
So let's go back because he's going to start talking about Thomas Massey soon because the press are starting to right now. But that C-Page says that was a heck of an endorsement for Ken Paxton, and it sure was, man. Wow. And that was a long one, too. All right. Ready, Shady?
I am.
All right, here we go. Back to DJ.
I got it out.
But how do you feel when you're negotiating? You're winning every point, and they say, but in Washington, they want to stop you from negotiating. They want to stop you, and it's only political. It's the Democrats. They're dumb. It's a new name. It's a very accurate name. So I'm in the middle of a negotiation. I'm saying you cannot have a nuclear weapon. And it comes over the wire that the Democrats want to stop Trump from further negotiations. They want to stop Trump from, if he has to, giving them another slap. They want to have a nuclear weapon to blow up the Middle East and to blow up, frankly, the world. It's not going to happen. Nice to see you, buddy.
How close were you to striking Ronnie?
I was an hour away. We were all set to go. You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now. Yeah, it was all done. Like the boats, the ships are all loaded. They're loaded to the brim. And we were all set to start.
What specifically did both nations tell you that convinced you?
They said that they feel they've had for the first time in almost 47 years. You know, Iran's been the bully of the Middle East for 47 years. I mean, literally the bully of the Middle East. And then they wanted a nuclear weapon. Had I not terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, had I not terminated it, see, that's the win. That can't happen with the real structure.
On Cuba, what do you want to see from Cuba or the option of military action?
You're talking about Cuba? Well, we're going to see. Look, Cuba is calling us. They need help. Look, Cuba is a failed nation. Cuba needs help. And we'll do that. Just hold them, though. It's like an exercise game. Give that to me. I'll hold it. It's so beautiful. See, I look so
Just
thin.
stand there and hold it,
They'll say,
sir.
oh, he's gotten so thin because I'm holding this. You
the
don't have
Secret
to look
Service
at my
guy's
waist.
gonna help.
You can look at this. You saw enough of my waist along with President Xi.
Are you confident that you can reach a diplomatic deal
With Cuba?
the
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I am very prone toward the Cuban Americans. They've been incredible people. Many of them have lost family members. They've been very badly hurt themselves. They've been in prison. They've come to this country and they've been very successful.
I can't love them
Cuban
enough.
American people in Miami, I mean, they are amazing people. Most of them are in Miami, in Florida, but mostly in Miami. I'm very, very prone to helping them. I mean, they've been, I think I got 97% of that vote. I want to help them. Now, they have family members in Cuba. They've been treated very, very badly. They've been treated extremely badly, and we're going to get that solved. That's not going to be hard for us to solve.
But you can do that without changing the regime there, you believe?
Well, I don't know about changing the regime. I can do that, whether you change the regime or not. You know, it's been a rough regime. They've killed a lot of people, but it's a country that really needs help. It has nothing. They can't turn on the lights. They can't eat. We don't want to see that.
How much notice did the Gulf nations have? How much notice did the Gulf nations have if you're going to strikes before
They called me over the last 2 days to say they made a lot of progress in there because we have them negotiating with us, and primarily Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, a little bit, and Bahrain, and some of the others. And we have them negotiating with them. We're all working together. It's like a team. And Israel, of course, and Israel's been a great partner. And so we are negotiating together. I got a call from numerous of these people. They know the people in Iran. Don't forget, when you talk about regime change, I think it's the ultimate regime change because the first level and the second level are no longer with us. They're someplace, but they're no longer with us. So we have real regime change. But I got a call yesterday, sir, could you wait? We think we're close to a deal. And that's okay. Now, I've heard it before with these people, and they change their mind. I made deals with them, no nuclear. We immediately get the nuclear dust. And they said, you're the only one can get it because the bombers did such an unbelievable job that the mountain literally collapsed on top of it. They said us, and they thought China would be the only two countries that could even get it. But I think it's important to get it, maybe psychologically more than anything else.
How long did they know? How long did they know that you were planning the Gulf nations?
They knew I was getting ready to attack. I didn't tell them. I never tell anybody when.
You're in constant contact.
I never tell anybody when, but they knew that we were very close. I would say I was an hour away from making the decision to go today. And we would probably not be talking about a beautiful ballroom today. We'd be talking about that. And no, I had made the decision. So they called up. They had heard I made the decision. They said, sir, could you give us a couple of more days? Because we think they're being reasonable.
How long are you wait for Iran to come?
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time. Because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would start with Israel. They would blow it up, and they would blow it up fast, but they'd blow it up. And I'll tell you what, they'd go after Saudi Arabia, they'd go after Kuwait, they'd go after UAE, they'd go after Qatar, I think they go after the entire Middle East, and it would be a whole different negotiation. It would be nuclear holocaust. And there's no question in my mind that they'd use it. There's no question. And I deal with these people. They're extremely radicalized. These are not people like when I deal with you. You're a very nice guy. These are people that are seriously radicalized. They would use it. The only question, would it be the first minute, the first hour, or the first day?
How to pause at some time. Does there come a point soon where you're no longer going to...
I'm not doing this politically. I'm doing, look, everyone tells me it's unpopular, but I think it's very popular. When they hear that it's having to do with nuclear weapons, weapons that could take out Los Angeles, could take out major cities very quick.
They don't care about that, sir.
You know, when they're explaining, I'll tell you what, when we explain it to people, I don't really have enough time to explain it to people. I'm too busy getting it done. When they understand, I think it's frankly very popular, but whether it's popular or not popular, I have to do it. Because I'm not going to let the world be blown up on my watch. It's not going to happen.
Mr. President, Thomas Massey and your endorsed candidate, do you think your candidate can beat him? And what are you seeing?
Yeah, Thomas Massey's a terrible congressman. He's been a terrible congressman from day one. Dealing with him is just a horrible. I don't think he's a Republican. I think he's actually a Democrat. He's not a libertarian. You know, sometimes they say he's really a Democrat. He votes against us all the time. He voted against the border wall. He voted against men playing in women's sports. He voted against transgender for everybody, the mutilization of your children. He voted against, again, open borders. We have the best border we've ever had right now. Nobody's coming in. I mean, a report just came out. In the last 11 months, literally nobody has been allowed into our country illegally. We're taking people legally. They go through a process. But nobody's come into our country. But we've taken out hundreds of thousands of people. We had 11,888 murders. Many of these murders allowed into our country from prisons. They were in prisons. Many of these people killed more than one. More than 50% killed more than one person. This was gross malfeasance. This was on behalf of the Biden administration. I don't know Biden because I don't think he knew he was alive. But Kamala was the border czar. She never called, not one time, she never called the Border Patrol. She never called ICE. She never called law enforcement. She never went to the border. Think of it. I used to call every single day. And that's recently. Now I call less. We have nobody coming through. We had caravans coming through with tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. We had no idea who they were. We would have been, I'll tell you what, our country would have been destroyed. If they won this election, our country would have been, we have now the hottest country anywhere in the world. If they had won the election, our country would have been destroyed. Our country was a dead country 2 years ago, and now we have really the hottest country in the world. And this is the ballroom, and it's going to be something incredible. You see the quality of it, and they go right, those columns go right into the roof. And on top of the roof, we're going to have the greatest drone empire that you've ever seen. And it's going to be
drone empire.
Washington. Thank you all very much. We have a little breakfast.
The drone empire strikes back.
Where is the breakfast? I'd have it. Where is it? Oh, it's right over there. We have a little bit of a breakfast for you. I figured I'd be nice to you.
We dedicate you to thousands of people gathered there.
It was great.
This past Sunday.
Yeah. I did. Scripture. Well, I think that it was great. Thousands of people showed up, and it was a beautiful beautiful day.
Now.
I did Scripture. You think it's easy to read Scripture? It's not easy to read Scripture. That's a whole different ball game. That's not like reading a speech. We will build the wall. This is a whole different deal. But I did it proudly, and I guess it was broadcast. We had tremendous crowds. I think religion's very important for a country. I think having this country was built largely on religion. If you look, it was built. And when you have strong religion, you have less crime. It's just a fact. You know, whatever it may be, it's like, gee, I want to go to heaven, so I'm not going to do this or that. Who knows? But we have a country that was based on religion, and I'm very proud of that. And if you look and you see all of the polling, I mean, polling is so fake. But on this, it's not fake. Religion is really going up in the last year. And during the time, I mean, really during the time I first got elected in 2016, it's a much different thing. I'm very proud of that. Religion is a good thing. Christianity, it's a great thing for our country. I mean, so many of the things that we've done, the successes that we've had have been based on Christianity and religion. So I'm very proud of that. Religion is taking off like our country is taking off. Our country's hotter now than it's ever been, and I'll tell you, religion is making a tremendous comeback. You look at churches today, they're full. You go back 2-3 years, nobody was going. So we're very happy with it.
About the hate crimes that we see happening.
Yeah. No, I'm always concerned. I see things happening. Look, from the beginning of mankind, you've had that. You've had the good and you have the bad. I'd like to get rid of the bad, but somehow that's going to be there. But the good has been many times what it was. Really many times what it was.
On the ballroom, if Congress is not going to this $1 billion for your security funding, would you be willing, or would you be willing to go to your donors and ask for that money?
Well, this is money for the whole premises, including the East Wing. This is the East Wing section. But the ballroom is, as you see, it's going up. It's ahead of schedule. It's larger because they wanted more military capacity. They wanted more drone capacity. They needed a larger roof. And frankly, we needed a larger facility. And so we're doing that. And we've done this in strict coordination with the military and with the Secret Service. And they've been great to work with. The money that they're talking about is the surrounding areas and maybe enhancing some security aspects of it. But the building, as you see, it's a very active site. And a lot of people are amazed. And by the way, that floor goes down 3 floors, just so you understand. You're seeing almost the top floor. That floor goes down 3 floors, and there are many things in there having to do with security. And many of those things are going to be taken from there and put onto the roof of the building. And that has to do with drone and missile capacity.
A lot of presidents have done renovations to the White House, to all these things. Why do you think people are so mad about your renovations?
Because I'm doing it.
The Meridian Hill Park, you got the water flowing in, all of it. And they just seem to hate you.
Well, it's a sad thing, actually. You know, it's very nice. I appreciate the question. First I said, oh, this is going to be a negative question. Then I heard she's really saying, why do they hate you for fixing the water fountains? So, you know, we have 40. I know, because I want to see Washington be beautiful. To me, it's very important. But as an example, you mentioned the water fountain. We didn't have one water fountain. I think we have 40. We didn't have one in Washington that worked. And soon they'll all be working. Many of them work right now. And I think one of the best things, President Obama, President Biden spent much more than $100 million on the reflecting lake between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. They spent much more. They spent, some people say, $200 million. You know what they got out of it? A closed lake. It never opened. And when it did, it shut right away. It leaked. It was a disaster. I'm doing a job on the reflecting lake for a fraction of what they paid. Now I've upgraded it I got so into it. I've upgraded it like you wouldn't believe. I'm doing all the walkways outside. I'm doing it properly. But it's a much bigger job. But you see it's happening now. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be waterproof. It's going to be reflecting again. I took over a dirty, filthy thing that wasn't open, and it was disgusting. And friends of mine would come to the Lincoln or the Washington and they'd say, sir, it's disgusting. I said, what's disgusting? The reflecting lake. So I drove down, I looked with Secretary Burgum, who's fantastic, of Interior. He's fantastic. And we got together and we have, it's under construction right now. I want to get it open before July 4th, which we'll easily be able to do. It'll be open before that, but easily be able to do. The July 4th being a very special day. And it is going to be beautiful. Beautiful blue color, dark blue color. It's very reflective. I put a thing out yesterday showing the reflection. We did a little test. We wanted to see. It's unbelievable. It's like a mirror. Well, it's like a mirror. It's beautiful.
And I saw there was guys out there, almost like, are they hand painting it? Is that how
they're doing, they're fixing the stone outside, and they're sandblasting the stone. We're doing a much bigger job than we wanted to do. But think of it. Obama and Biden spent over $100 million, and you know what they got? Nothing. They opened it up, and it leaked like a sieve, and they closed it, and it stayed closed. They've been working on it for years. I've been working on this for a couple of months. When it's finished, it's going to be incredible. But We have other fountains, beautiful fountains. They haven't worked in 30 years. They're just sitting there rotting, and most of them are now open. And right across the street, I made a donation, and I'm building Lafayette Park, and it's going to be beautiful.
How much
I like her.
How much was the donation?
About $10 million.
Are you happy with American flag blue?
Well, I put up the American flag.
No, the American flag blue. Are you happy
I think so. I mean, I'll let you know. I wanted a lighter color blue. The person that really knows this stuff said, no, dark is much better. You don't see the leaves, and you know, things will get in there. But most importantly, the dark reflects much better.
Mr. President, he asked you.
Claiming so desperately that MAGA's divided.
Well, I think it's
MAGA's
as
divided.
strong as it's ever been. You know, you
He's
take
very
a look
concerned.
at what happened in Louisiana 2 nights ago with a certain senator that was very
Bill
disloyal
Cassidy
to
didn't
me
think
and
so.
to the Republican Party. He's not even allowed to run for office. We have another big race. This guy Massey is terrible. Let's see what happens. It's not easy beating incumbents, but we have a great guy running against Massey. Massey's a terrible, I think the worst congressman the Republican Party's ever had. That'll be tonight. That'll be good television.
That'll be really good television.
There. But I think MAGA's never been more together, actually. And I'm going to be making an endorsement today in Texas.
Ken Paxton.
Putting out an endorsement in Texas.
We'll be right back, guys, after these beautiful boom messages to do JD Vance and wrap up what we just saw. Let's go.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's at 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20%, and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
Smash that like for the MG Show. Subscribe now. Ring that bell. Let's go. Smash that like for the MG Show. Yeah. Let's go.
Back in 18 when the storm was brewing low, Q dropped a map on how the deep state to put on a show. Fake whistleblower, scripted lines in the night, shifting Pelosi plotting with the NSC inside. Thin man in the room, Atkinson signing off. They thought the world would never call their bluff, but the MG show saw it, tweeted it loud and clear. Q used Jeffrey's Twitter post to say playbook known right here. Now the proof is dropping, truth is finally here. Toast is dropping bombs from the DNI chair, declassifying lies from 2019 in the air. Q called their playbook every move in the game. Now the hoax is exposed, ain't it a beautiful shame? Red pills raining down like confetti in the fight. The world's waking up to the light. Tulsi, Tulsi, truth is on the rise. Their playbook's busted, open up your eyes. Oh, never before seen Doc sitting the feed like fire. Pelosi's false narrative shifts coordinated choir. From the NSC straight to the House Intelligence crew, they ran the same old script, now we know it through and through. The MG show post blowing up the timeline strong, quoting the drops, playing the original song. Impeachment theater act one scene fake, but the curtains fall and history's wide awake. Toast is dropping bombs from the DNI chair, declassifying lies from 2019 in the air. Q called their playbook every move in the game. Now the hoax is exposed, ain't it a beautiful shame? Red pills raining down like confetti in the fight. The world's waking up to the light. Toast it, truth is on the rise. Their playbook's busted, open up your eyes. Hey. Hey. They laughed in the shadows, thought the plan was sealed, but the Great Awakening's got the real deal. No more hiding, no more spinning lies. The documents speak, watch the sleepers open their eyes. From the post that started it to the D-class today, the storm is here, nothing left to say. Tulsi's dropping bombs from the DNI chair, declassifying lies, let the whole world stare. Q called their playbook back in 18 so true. Now the MG show message is coming straight to you. Raining down like freedom in the fight. The Great Awakening's burning bright. Tulsi, Tulsi, truth is on the rise. Their playbook's busted, and we're all wide awake tonight. Wide awake, wide
awake. Sing it, Shady.
Yeah.
Yeah, playbook known. Wow. Shady Groove, welcome back.
What's up, MG fans?
What's up, MG fam?
All of us, yeah, all of you here. So happy to see you back for hour number 2. Man, what a time to be alive. And, just watching all of that, Jeff, is thinking about so many things, but, thinking about what we're doing here and what we've been talking about here and the differentiation between what InfoWars is and what the MG show is. The reality is, how do you build something versus how do you tear it down? InfoWars is built to tear you down. InfoWars is built to tear down America. InfoWars is built to attack the presidency and to insert conspiracy in any known area of conversation or geopolitics that they possibly can. Make it up as you go along. They don't care. What we're doing here is we're following in the footsteps of the founding fathers that said that the best information that you could possibly have is important so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your children and your future. Why is the media not considering that? Why does the InfoWars not consider that? What is Donald Trump doing? He's building stuff. He's building a reflecting pool. He's fixing your water fountains. He's building a ballroom for you. All of these different things he's doing. You don't see, where do you see Donald Trump trying to tear anything down as all of the InfoWars people, all of the Massey people, all the Carlson people, all these people are coming there. They've got, their fangs are out. They're out for blood. They can smell it in the water, they think. And so they are going for the gusto, if you will. That's what they're doing. And right now they're trying to invert everything and make it seem like Donald Trump is somehow the bully whenever they are the bullies. The globalists will always paint themselves as the victim.
I also want to address this comment in here. What excuse do the Chumpers have for the Epstein list still never being released?
Oh, what are you
there
talking
was no
about?
list.
There's no list. Who said that?
Your Bill Clinton is on the list if you're a Democrat trying to pin this on Trump where there's nothing. Also, never being released, and then all the money going to Israel. There's only sales going to Israel, not money. Okay, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, Aquarius Dastra. Okay. I voted for this. This is war in Iran. It's not a war. 7 weeks is not a war. I voted for no nuclear weapons in Iran. Sorry, but I don't get why you're thinking that the stuff that they're feeding you, the shit, is real. Because you are coming in this show spewing bullshit. And you don't do any research yourself. That is the difference, Aquarius. That's what you don't get.
They got narratives. You got narratives. You got just you're on repeat. That's fine. You can go ahead and be on repeat. The money that America spends to support Israel every year is no different than the money America spends to support every single other country on planet Earth every year. Has nothing to do with what politics is doing right now. Iran has told you to your face. They have not. This has nothing. Okay, there's no Israel filter between me and Iran. Iran told me specifically from the mullah's mouth they wanted to blow me up. They wanted to destroy everything that has to do with anything American, and any base or any person or anything that's American, they're going to target and they're going to kill it. Bunch of FU. That's what Iran said to me personally. It has nothing to do with Israel. You know what we're saying to Iran right now? Ha ha. Turnabout is fair play. And now your Navy is at the bottom of the ocean. Now your Air Force can't even take off the ground. Now you don't even know who's in charge, and you got a gay Ayatollah out there that's having facelifts every day because he can't figure out how to talk to his people. This is the problem that we created intentionally for us so that none of these people can any longer threaten America.
Yeah. So Aquarius followed up and says, I'm legitimately curious since I've been waiting since 2015 for results.
You're not waiting anything. That person's a liar.
Let me continue. Let me just continue. They lie. They do lie. They're not waiting for anything. They're just inserting a narrative. I understand. We've been through this a million times.
Understood.
But all he's seeing is more and more excuses. Sorry, but if anyone researches any other channels, everyone's jumping off the hype. You mean all the fake anons that usurped our movement all switched in one day against Trump? Imagine that, Aquarius.
Went full Massey, 3 seconds. Matter of fact, if you want me to take you back 3 years, I'll take you back 3 years to an MG show where we told you it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Whenever the Badlands media, all this devolution crap and all of your crap, you believe all that too. I bet you're probably going to tell me that JFK Jr. is alive too, or some nonsense. Because every single thing that you bring is full of horse poo. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So he says, y'all sound like you love war. People are sick of it.
No, they're not. Nobody's
they're not. We want Iran no nukes, bro. We voted for that. Q told us that was going to happen, even with a B-2 bomber, bro, with the mother of all bombs, bro. Yeah,
I'm here I'm here for the next year. I've got a year in me easy of standing down for these people. Like I don't care about it one bit. You InfoWars people do though. You little Jesuit horde out there. You really got your skirt in a tizzy over this, don't you?
So let me ask Aquarius, what's your lodge number?
What lodge did you did you lay in that coffin to hear him a biff by yourself?
Come on, Aquarius. He says it's all division. People know who the one country is that rules America. Yeah, Donald Trump. Nobody controls Trump, bro.
Nope.
Did you see Israel in all those deals done with the Middle East? No, you didn't, did you?
Nope.
So your narrative just unraveled just like that.
Nope, because if it had been up to Israel, there would have been no Abraham Accords ever even begun. It would have never started. You know, if it had been up to Israel, there would have been none of that even to begin to normalize relations there. Donald Trump did that. He worked around every one of you neocons that have been trying to destroy the Middle East, and you've been trying to destroy our bilateral negotiations with every single country. You go in and you try to make noise. Keep it up, buddy. We got your number. You're not tricking a single person in this chat.
So Aquarius Dastra says, no wonder I don't watch this show. Peace.
Yeah.
Good luck with hopium.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Y'all still push the same hopium in 2036. Later. Well, future will prove past, and you'll still be a loser.
And we win again. MG Show is a winner, and you are a loser.
Yeah. Somebody says he must be from Script Keeper's channel. Probably Script Keeper, actually.
Or Bigger Truth or something.
Bigger Truth. So anyways, we don't really care about what you think. But we
do like defending ourselves in front of our audience too. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'd like to show you how these ridiculous narratives and thought processes are dangerous, guys. And that person came in here with all fake crap. They're trying to act like because Bill Clinton went to the island 20 some odd times, 26 times, 25, that somehow Trump is involved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so by us showing you, thank you so much to whoever you are. So now you've taught our audience exactly how to deal with your numbnut narratives whenever somebody brings them up to them in public. Because the thing is, you start laughing at these people. You can't take stuff seriously. It's like somebody walking out and trying to convince you that literally the sky is orange and the sun is blue. And you're looking at them cross-eyed. That's exactly the way you should be having this conversation. You should not entertain morbid stupidity.
Yeah. Liberty Warrior, thank you for being here. Hey, I used to be with Bigger Truth. That's how I found the MG show. Yeah. Thank you for that.
I didn't mean that derogatorily.
I did.
Necessarily.
He attacked me, and I mean it derogatory.
He did directly attack us, and he directly told us, Bigger Truth directly told us that it was Epstein and Bannon that were writing the Q drops and then blocked us. So that's and decided that Spilty T was his little helper out there.
Helper. All right. So real quick, Shady, but we're waiting for Vice President Vance. But let's do this because we hear a lot about crypto. But here's the part of people that, most people miss, guys. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your moolah, guys, your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, that one hit me hard, by the way. Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you ever had to wait for a transfer to clear and you felt that problem, I know I have. Now fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started feels so complicated. But that's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want. Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, or even digital gold-backed gold coins. Buy real gold. It's backed by real gold. There's no complicated setup. It connects easily with MoonPay. So you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank card and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like the MG Show directly. No fees, no nothing. All of it goes to us, and we love that Bitcoin, or the gold tether. We love gold. So now do this. You see that QR code right there? Click the link in the description. See it? And click it right now. Download that Rumble wallet, or tap buy, and you're in the game. So from there, QR code or link in the description. Tap the Rumble wallet, get on there, download it, and then hit buy, and you're in the game. It's just a few minutes. You can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Wow.
Yes, and it's really not that hard to navigate now. And you can, and also another thing that I've noticed that people are doing is utilizing the AI a little bit to help you in different areas. If you have Twitter and stuff, and you have access to Grok, if things get you can't figure it out or you don't understand something, it's really easy to plug stuff in and get at least a definition of different things, because we do have to move into the world that we're building a little bit.
Real quick, I'd just like to shout out Aquarius one more time.
Oh God.
Look, I'm just going to sit back and see if I agree. I'm sorry for venting because I'm so fed up, but I'll give you all a chance because I haven't been listening in like a year. It's so frustrating. I feel that, brother.
That's cool.
Sister. I don't know. But I feel that. And that's why, this show, let me just tell you, Aquarius, this show was censored by Hillary Clinton in 2019. Okay? Media Matters jumped on the bandwagon and wrote 40 articles about this show and me and my co-host, Shannon. Okay? Even Authority. We called out the Flynn Network. Okay? We called out all of these people, but well before InfoWars, well before all of these people. We knew that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I want to ask you a question. Who do you think really runs Iran? Do you think the intel agencies, rogue CIA, rogue Mossad, rogue MI6 control it? Okay. That's what we're really going after. And there's a new golden age, as Shady pointed out. We're doing deals directly with the Middle East. Israel's iced out. You see that? You just look at how we're restructuring and reshaping the world with us in power, us in the lead, nobody else, Shady.
I'm so glad for your comment, and this is the way that we deal with a lot of people that aren't legitimate and that don't actually think things through. If you're willing to think things through, I'm 100% willing to talk to you, and it's very easy to understand. What Jeff just said is absolutely accurate. What the Q posts we're talking about is absolutely accurate. There is no Epstein quote unquote list. There's a list of flight logs, and then there's a black book. Okay, the flight logs are open source. The black book is open source. The narrative that Thomas Massey and all these people are coming at you like there's some sort of hidden list. Didn't Thomas Massey say he was going to come out and go to the House of Representatives and read the list that he could see?
Yeah, where's that?
Did he ever do that? Because there's no list. What they're doing is they're using this to try to make it look like Donald Trump is doing something wrong and that he's a puppet of a foreign government. This is the exact thing that the people that are puppets of the foreign government are doing. So you have this 5 million people network strong of digital soldiers that are out there pushing all of this stuff that Ryan Mata, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all these people are saying it like it's true, like they really, really believe it. So it's convincing to see. You're like, oh, this is frustrating, this is frustrating, this is frustrating. And you're not really looking in the corners to say, oh, did this really happen? Did this really happen? Or is this really true? This is what we're trying to do here. What we're saying to you is that there is no real war, quote unquote, with Iran. What is going on right now is a standoff between America and the globalist family business structure of geopolitical 100 years history that is sitting there in Iran that we have now cut off from being able to sell their oil on the world market. That is the first time in 100 years, over 100 years, this has been so. They used the oil in Iran to create World War I. They used the oil in Iran to create World War II. They've been using the oil in Iran to create terrorism. The word terrorism was invented so that they could utilize Iran as a terrorist nation state along with North Korea and undermine any American president and lash out at him, do these things. If an American president starts to do something good, then all of a sudden Iran attacks a base over here in Iraq. It's the way that the system is built. Trump is undermining all of the system and trying to go one-to-one, bilateral negotiations, not unilateral negotiations, one-to-one. This is what your founding fathers wanted. This is what Q said we were going to do. And this is exactly what the MG show is following along with, literally step by step. And if, I promise you, I thought that Donald Trump was compromised in any way or that there was anything going on with all of this nonsense that's out there, I would say it. I'm not afraid to say it. There's nothing beholding me to anything other than my own research, other than Jeff's research.
Yeah, I mean, we got it. I mean, and you know, you're talking about Israel. There is a very specific Q post that says saving Israel for last. And let me tell you what my theory is on that. You're going to find out that Israel is doing a lot of business with China. Okay, that's going to end, and it's going to be done with the U.S. The Lee family, Lee Ka-shing, owns a lot of TV stations in Israel. You're going to see that they're probably buying oil on the back end. They're saying that they're only dealing with us, but they're doing a lot of business with Iran and China in the back end. That's what you're going to find out. Right. So saving Israel for last, a very specific reason why we never mentioned it, basically. And you're going to see President Trump, who's already in control of Israel. There's no doubt about it, guys, that your president, Donald J. Trump, is in control of Israel. Nobody bosses the Trump around, Shady Groove.
No, and that's the reason. That's the reason that we're fighting here. Listen, if I didn't think that we were fighting for the right thing, I wouldn't be fighting.
Yeah,
you know, and what these people are doing that are fighting us, who are fighting for the right thing, they could understand reality like it's one-to-one context. But instead, they hear something Donald Trump says, and then they take it out of context, and then they pretend like they think that he said something else, and then they weaponize it because he did definitely say the thing that they're flipping out about. He 100% said, I'm going to eliminate their civilization. But they take that to mean I'm going to eliminate every civilian. And Tucker Carlson and all these people, they are invested heavily in Iran, guys. You don't understand this. This was a big, go back to the Q drops, Muslim Brotherhood, Valerie Jarrett, John Brennan literally went to school there, guys. He can speak Farsi. Okay. Yeah. Like all of these people, Peter Strzok, Iran deals, everything connected to this. Now the whole deep state, American CIA corporate isn't connected to Iran anymore. They're isolated away from all of their systems, and they are dying on the vine, just like you're cutting the root of a tree. That's exactly what we've done, and that's exactly what we're waiting to happen. There is no rush. There is no fervor. Donald Trump is out there walking around on a building site today. Mm-hmm. Do you really think that that's a man who is afraid of Iran or afraid of the Israel lobby?
Yeah.
Be real about what you're saying.
Not Charlie Kirk, Susie, Tucker Carlson.
Yes, Tucker Carlson, I meant.
Yeah, was on Iranian TV. Real quick, and this is very important to understand.
People who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong. It's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world. Man, it's not the Jews. It's not the Catholics. It's not the blacks. It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world. And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret, it's a different story. People who...
So... And we, this show, followed the bloodlines. We're outing the bloodlines that are controlling all of these secret societies that are acting like they're Christians, acting like they're Jews, but they're subverting you. And they're actually satanic, Shady.
The organized effort against Jewish people by the established order has been massive, okay? The Balfour Declaration going back to the time of the Federal Reserve, the initiation of World War I, leading to World War II. Those that Bill Cooper talked about that plan in secret, I can show you where in the 1800s they wrote about 3 world wars. They used the Schofield Bible to encode that stuff in your biblical text. Therefore, they look to this like it's all going to end in World War III and all these different things. It's a lot of speculation, conjecture due to the idea that they knew what they were going to do. World War I, World War II, and World War III were all planned out. World War III didn't happen. It's not like waiting to happen. It would have already happened.
Yeah.
Had the timeline not shifted, World War III would have happened circa 2017, 2018. And after World War III started, that's when the pandemic would start. And then after the pandemic started and all the economies were shut down, nobody would be able to find a vaccine anywhere for anybody. Every single country's economy would be in ruins. For them to build again, out of the ashes would come a new world order. That's the plan that they had. That's the plan that Donald Trump intercepted. And you are not on that timeline anymore.
That's right. We have Here for Vids asked if we have a Rumble short of that video. Wow, look at that. 9 days ago. Huh. So you see how awesome we are. We got 2,000 here, 1,000 here, 600 here, 850 here, 248 here, 2.72K here. Guys, please go to rumble.com/mgshow/shorts, guys, and please help us with these shorts. It helps. Okay, so your Bill Cooper short Here for Vids is right here. Okay, friend? You got it.
Did anybody, can I ask a question, Jeff? I have to ask you an objective question.
No.
Whenever we all like talk, we have one world religion, one world finances, and one world military. Was the one world religion that was being planned, was that one world religion Jewry? Or was that one world religion Catholicism?
Yeah.
Think about it, everybody. What are they trying to engineer? What you believe and what you think and what your life is means nothing to these people. None of you mean anything. You mean everything to yourself, but you mean absolutely nothing to any of these other people. And the ones that lord over you think that you're literally they literally view you as things moving around in a petri dish.
Yeah.
That's what they think of you. So whatever, you want to respect that and bow down to it. You're more than welcome to do it. But there was a bunch of people 250 years ago that decided they weren't going to do it anymore. And then there was a bunch of people in America, whenever they decided to do that, that said, no, we want to keep our status quo. And they took it away from them. And those people whose status quo in 1776 was taken away from them, their lineage and their families and their sisters and brothers and, ancestors, whatever, they're still fighting for that today. The global elite are still fighting for that today. And they fight for a one world religion.
Yeah. Q Phenomenon says, you should make a clip of that last 5 or 6 minutes. I'll share it everywhere. It was fire. Thank you so much for that. Right now, we're waiting for JD Vance to act like he's the press secretary. Caroline Levitt. Okay. So we're waiting for JD Vance still at this moment. Let me just go ahead and see what else is going on. There is something big that dropped real quick. Let me just go to this over here. Because people don't think that President Trump is serious about child trafficking, and trafficking. You're watching the trafficking networks get destroyed. I mean, there's no doubt about it. These Tren de Araguas, these cartel people, these people that are getting deported, that is your child trafficking network, okay? The people that Epstein used to get their children. I think that's very important to understand. Guys.
It's extremely important to understand that it's because the reason is because of by the book, that whole by the book thing. Investigations work from the bottom up, from someone who's been witnessed or actually committed a crime or convicted of a crime. That person tells on another person and tells on another person. You know who's we didn't even mention in the first hour.
Let me finish my thought.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you were.
Because Trump launched a new program to stop missing foster children from being trafficked. Biden didn't do it. Clinton didn't do it.
Nope.
Obama didn't do it. Who did it?
Trump.
Who?
Trump.
Who?
DJT.
Yeah. All right. So here it is right here. The Daily Signal. Trump launches new program to stop missing foster children from being trafficked. Okay. Nobody else is doing anything like this. President Donald Trump's Department of Health and Human Services has launched a new program to locate missing foster children. The Daily Signal can first report. The agency's administration of children and families has plotted a new program in Mississippi to rescue foster children before they are trafficked. About 60% of all child sex trafficking victims have spent time in the child welfare system. About 23,000 kids went missing while foster care in 2024. One of the largest pipelines to domestic trafficking is vulnerable youth who have experienced foster care. Assistant Secretary of Health for the Administration of Children and Families, Alex Adams, told the Daily Signal in an interview, quote, "Our primary goal is to prevent that from happening." The new program, Operation Hope, has already located 13 missing foster children in the Magnolia State and brought them to safety in just 48 hours. 87% of Mississippi's missing foster kids were rescued. Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch said her goal is not to just locate vulnerable youth, but also to create a model for other states to use. There are children all across the country who live without hope, but through partnerships like this, we can show them that we care and that they matter and that they deserve hope, she said. Adams said that the program will be replicated across the country. The Administration of Children and Families and Fitch are both seeking other states that are willing to implement Operation Hope. We're going to be looking for supportive law enforcement partners, specifically partnerships with Attorney General's offices to expand this, Adams said. We've got a turnkey model of great federal resources with state and local law enforcement to replicate what they did in Mississippi in pretty short order. So we're going to be looking for active partners on that federal level. Guys, nobody else is doing anything like that.
But he's not doing anything. Donald Trump is not doing anything he promised. He's completely leaving us. Nothing is happening. Nothing is going on. What are we going to do? Oh, the sky is falling, Chicken Little. Yeah. Look at what we didn't even talk about. I wanted to mention that we didn't even talk about what he did in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They just took out literally these marauding warlords. This guy, they've been slaughtering Christians. A video was put out by the people that are being slaughtered, of them standing over the open grave of a number of people that these people just literally cut their necks off in Nigeria. Trump missioned Hegseth in the Department of War to go out and eliminate this guy after they put out this video standing over the open grave of all of their family members that were murdered by these people. And guess what? He go boom too.
Yeah.
We don't even get to report on some of these things. There's so much winning. I can't even begin to tell you how many things in the last 3 months that we've had to kind of sidestep so that we could talk about the most important thing. Another thing he's done for me. I take this personally. I fight this fight for the conversation personally because I believe that Donald Trump speaks for me. The moment that I think that Donald Trump doesn't speak for me, I'm going to tell you that I don't think he speaks for me.
Yep. And this was in January. Women sob in Kermanwali after a gunman kidnapped over 170 worshippers from churches, guys.
Out of the church. While they were praying.
Okay. They kidnapped my husband and children. Okay. So what did President Trump do about that, Shady Groove? Let's just look up my timeline. This is all about Nigeria. This was November 2nd. If Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop and assist and will stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. Look at that. He was talking about this for a long time, guys. Okay. U.S. foreign aid by country. This is Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Okay. Then you got this right here on 5/15. Tonight, at my direction, brave American forces and the armed forces of Nigeria flawlessly executed and a meticulously planned and very complex mission to eliminate the most active terrorist in the world from the battlefield. Abu Bilal al-Minuki, second in command of ISIS globally, thought he could hide in Africa. And we're going to welcome JD Vance to the stage.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing?
Glad we got to bring that up.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Real quick. So we're going to go live to Nigeria. Shady, did you want to say something before we cruise over there?
Just one last comment about all of that. About this whole last half hour has been really good. Thank you for your comments. I'd like to thank the person that kind of got us all riled up. That's fine. God bless you. We love you. Thank you. But
That's how we have conversations, Shady.
It is. We get fired up, and it's not personal. We're just letting you know how we really feel, and you're getting us animated because we really believe what we're saying. We're not kidding around here. And Jeff, I'd just like to say, this is the theory. Every single terrorist, quote unquote, organization on planet Earth is puppeted by the same people that make the nice signage. Okay, we get the nice signage, the ones that say no kings. Oh, it's so nice signage. The nice signage people are the terrorists. They are puppeted by the exact same money. The money that comes out of the billionaire George Soros's fund and goes to Arabella, no different than the money that goes right into these people in Africa that are warlording over Christians. This stuff in Africa everything is connected to your intelligence agency that is a terrorist organization. Terrorist organizations are not independent contractors. They are employed contractors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, there's a lot. It's all connected. And JD Vance is going to talk about some of these NGOs. They all have foundations and institutes for a reason. That's how they do the fraud. That's how they, the taxpayers' dollars, they don't get taxed because they use these foundations. Guys, it's all connected. Everything that we're talking about is, in fact, connected, Shady.
It 100% is. That's the reason that we were censored, is because we explain things to you that are so simple.
Yep.
Their convoluted nonsense of a society wouldn't make sense if they told you the truth.
Yeah. Here we go, Shady. You ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good. Okay. I've got my cheat sheet here, so I know who to call on, most importantly, who not to call on. Let me start out with a few things. So first of all, proud to announce that next week I will be speaking at the Air Force Academy commencement ceremony. Last year, I spoke at the Naval Academy commencement ceremony, and it was one of the great honors and privileges of my life. So I'm excited to go out there to Colorado and participate in that ceremony. The second thing is I want to highlight a little bit some of the work that we've been doing, the great work our team has been doing on the anti-fraud task force, where we have caught just in the last couple of months billions upon billions of dollars of fraud in our hospice system, in our Medicaid system, in our Medicare system, in our immigration system. We've seen hundreds of millions of dollars of fraudulent loans that were being handed out through the Small Business Administration that we've identified and stopped. we've also started investigating some of the fraudulent criminal activity and also prosecuting some of the fraudulent criminal activity. So the thing that I say to the American people, and I'll repeat here to all of you, is, fraud is a crime that has two victims. It has, first of all, the American taxpayer, people who pay their taxes, who out of their generosity, and because they have to, of course, they pay their taxes expecting that it's going to go to pay our troops and ensure that low-income children have access to food and ensure that people get medical benefits even if they're not able to afford a doctor. I think it's a great thing about our country is that we have this generosity of spirit where we take care of one another, but fraud takes that away from us because it steals money from the taxpayer when they pay their taxes, and it also steals money from innocent people who are meant to benefit from these programs but can't when the money runs dry because it's gone to fraudsters instead of the people who benefit from it or should benefit from it. So we're going to keep that work up. The President of the United States has been very clear that he wants us to focus on fraud. He wants us to prosecute the fraudsters, and he wants us to save the American people as much money as we possibly can. So we're going to keep at it. We're very proud of that work, and importantly, very proud of the team who've done an incredible job. And then finally, just to give an update on the Iran negotiation, the Iran situation, I just talked to the president very briefly before I came out here. It's actually a very simple proposition here. There are two options, two pathways we can go down when it comes to the Iran situation. So step back for a little bit. What the President of the United States has said is, number one, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And I think it's important for the American people and all of you to appreciate that when we say that, it's not just that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, it's what would happen if the Iranians did get a nuclear weapon. We know that a lot of nations all across the Gulf would then want their own nuclear weapon, and then a lot of nations all across the world. And what has been a very effective bright spot of American foreign policy really for the last 20 or so years would disappear overnight. If you have every country in the world scrambling to try to get a nuclear weapon, it would make us all much less safe. And Iran would really be the first domino and what would set off a nuclear arms race all over the world. That's very, very bad for the safety of our country. As the father of 3 young kids, I don't want them to inherit a world where 20 additional regimes, half of them very dangerous and very sympathetic to terrorists, have nuclear weapons. We want to keep the number of countries that have nuclear weapons small, and that's why Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, on top of all the other things that we might be worried about, that they themselves could use it, that they could use it in leverage and economic control or economic negotiations. We just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. Now, what we did here is that we effectively degraded their conventional military capability. That has been done. That has been successfully done. You could always do a little bit more, but where we are now is the president has asked us, has told us to aggressively negotiate with the Iranians. Why did I go to Islamabad, Pakistan? Why did I spend, I think, probably 22 hours on a plane going there, 24 hours coming back, and then 21 hours on the ground negotiating with the Iranians? Is because we wanted to show a sign of good faith. The Vice President of the United States is willing to cut a deal so long as the Iranians are willing to meet us, again, on that core issue of never having a nuclear weapon. We think that we've made a lot of progress. We think the Iranians want to make a deal. The President of the United States has asked us to negotiate in good faith, and that's exactly what we've done. So we're in a pretty good spot here, but there's an option B. And the option B is that we could restart the military campaign to continue to prosecute the case, to continue to try to achieve America's objectives. And we could talk a little bit about what that looks like, but that's not what the president wants, and I don't think it's what the Iranians want either. We have an opportunity here, I think, to reset the relationship that has existed between Iran and the United States for 47 years. That's what the president has asked us to do, and that's what we're going to keep on working at. But it takes two to tango. We are not going to have a deal that allows the Iranians to have a nuclear weapon. So as the president just told me, we're locked and loaded. We don't want to go down that pathway, but the president is willing and able to go down that pathway if we have to. So with that, I will say thank you all. It's cool to be here. I'm going to give a shout out, of course, to the person I am replacing today, Carolyn Levitt, who hopefully is at home enjoying some time with her beautiful kids. I told Carolyn I would stand in for her today for the White House press briefing on the condition that when Usha has our baby in July, that she would be vice president for a couple weeks. So thank you, guys. And I actually want to start first with Nick from Breitbart. Nick, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you. Today we saw the president endorse Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in the Texas Senate race. Do you think that sends a message going forward for the next cycle to senators, considering running for re-election? or any MAGA-aligned potential candidates that are considering challenging them?
Well, I'd say a couple things, Nick. First of all, I think the president's very gratified by the response that he's heard from the base and from a lot of voters, I think, who are passionate about Ken Paxton. We think Ken Paxton is going to be a great senator for the people of Texas, but most importantly, a great United States senator who can work on solving the problems that all of us confront as a country together. I've known John Cornyn for a long time, but unfortunately, when it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement. He thinks he's going to be a better senator, thinks he's going to make a better candidate, and so I do think it sends a message, but really not just the endorsement, but one of the things the president has done very effectively, going back 10 years in his leadership of the Republican Party and the country as President of the United States, is he said, I want people who fight for the good. I want people who can't be bought by corporate lobbyists, who can't be bought by Wall Street, who can't be bought by special interests, who are going to go to Washington and fight for the people who actually elected them to those positions. And I think one of the things we've seen in the Republican Party, while I can't say that all of our representatives are perfect or all of our senators are perfect, we have seen a much better crop of talent come into Washington since Donald Trump has been the leader of the party and the leader of the movement. I do think we're going to continue to see that happening. But I think the message that people should take from this is fundamentally, you have got to serve the people who sent you. And if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself out of step with voters or out of step with the President of the United States, and that's not a good place to be politically.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just following up on what you just said, you said that the White House is negotiating with Iran in good faith. I think Americans tend to believe that, but what is it about the Iranian side that you personally have seen where you believe that they are negotiating with us in good faith?
Well, first of all, I'd say it's a very complicated country, and it's a country that I wouldn't pretend that I understand even after as deep as I've been involved in this process from the very beginning. It's a great and proud civilization, amazing people. We obviously have a great Iranian American community here in the United States of America, smart people, very hardworking, and you see some of that in the negotiating team on the other side. You also see some very hardline positions in the negotiating team on the other side, and so I think you see that conflict, the fact that maybe the Iranians aren't themselves quite clear in what direction they want to go to. They also are just a fractured country. So you have the leadership of the country, there's the supreme leader, and there are a lot of officials below the supreme leader that has some influence in the negotiation. It's not sometimes totally clear what the negotiating position of the team is. And I don't know if that's sometimes bad communication, if that's bad faith. I wouldn't pretend to venture a guess there, but I will say with confidence, it's sometimes hard to figure out exactly what it is that the Iranians want to accomplish out of the negotiation. So what we've done is tried to be as clear as possible. What are our red lines? What are the things that we're willing to be accommodating on? And what are the things that we absolutely must have? And as the president has said ad nauseum, and I think I've said it a lot too, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We want to see not just the commitment to not have a nuclear weapon, but the commitment to work with us on a process to ensure that not just now, not just when Donald Trump is president, but years down the road that the Iranians are not rebuilding that nuclear capability. And that's what we're trying to accomplish in the negotiation. Sorry, you had a follow-up.
Yeah, just for Americans at home, because this has been going on for several weeks now. I think what people just want to know is, do you personally believe that the Iranians will come to a deal? Because we keep seeing this over and over again when they go back and forth.
So do I personally believe it? The honest answer is, how could I possibly know, right? And you negotiate with people, and sometimes you feel like you're making progress, and sometimes you feel like you're not making progress. What I think is that the Iranians want to make a deal. What I think is that the Iranians recognize that a nuclear weapon is the red line for the United States of America, that they've internalized that, but we're not going to know until we're actually putting pen to paper on signing a deal. We've had a lot of drafts, a lot of pieces of paper going back and forth, but I will not say with confidence that we're going to reach a deal until we're actually signing a negotiated settlement here. And I think that it's ultimately up to the Iranians whether they're willing to meet us, because I think we're certainly doing a good job and we're certainly negotiating in good faith. We're going to have to see what ultimately happens with them. I can't say with confidence because I don't know what's in the mind of the other side. John?
Mr. Vice President, thank you. I want to ask you about that $1.8 billion fund set up, weaponization fund as it's being called. Why should taxpayers be paying to settle a $10 billion lawsuit that was brought by the President of the United States. And should people that attacked the Capitol building and assaulted police officers, should they be eligible? Should they receive money? Should they receive money from this fund?
Well, let me say a couple things about that. First, John, I think in some ways the media has misrepresented what this is actually about. This is about compensating Americans for the lawfare that we saw under the last administration. And by the way, anybody can apply for it. Republicans can apply for it. Democrats can apply for it. As you know, the President of the United States has pardoned a number of Democrats who he felt were actually subject to this lawfare. I mean, if Hunter Biden wants to apply for this particular fund, he is welcome to. It's going to go through a normal process where we vet everything, where we try to identify whether people's claims are actually legitimate. But here's the question. When you say, why should taxpayers fund this? Whenever the United States government incurs legal expenses, it pays out those legal expenses. When it's settling a lawsuit, it pays out money to settle that lawsuit. And the question is a dollar of this money going to the Trump administration? No. Is a dollar of this money going to Donald Trump personally? No. Is a dollar of this money going to Donald Trump's family? No. The people that would get the money are people, some of whom have been prosecuted completely disproportionate to any crime they've ever committed. Like, let's just take a couple of examples. Tina Peters is this woman who is about to get out of prison, thanks in large part to the president's good work in Colorado. This is a woman who, at worst, if you believe everything that the prosecutors said about her, committed misdemeanor trespassing, and somebody threw the book at her, this innocent grandmother was going to spend 10 years in prison, completely disproportionate to any misdemeanor trespassing that I've ever seen. Was that fair? No. Is it reasonable for her to get some compensation for the fact that she was treated unfairly? I think the answer is yes, and I think that what we're going to see, hopefully, is the entire country, led by this Department of Justice, turning the page on the lawfare. What I would like to propose, and I think the Democrats, hopefully they're willing to meet us halfway here. I won't hold my breath. But what I would propose is something very simple. That if you are willing to turn the page on Joe Biden's lawfare, why don't we prosecute people? Very simple principle. Why don't we prosecute people who violate the law? Let's not prosecute people because they said the wrong thing or because they had the wrong political candidate or because they had the wrong viewpoint. And I think part of turning the page on that is to actually ensure the real victims of that lawfare receive some compensation. That's what this fund is going to be targeted at. And again, there's going to be a process to ensure that that money is only given to people who have actually, I hate to say earned it, but the people who actually were really mistreated by the previous administration and Department of Justice.
Go ahead. I understand that everybody is eligible to apply for this fund. I mean, you're eligible, but I assume you're not going to apply and you don't think you should get money out of this fund. Of course. So isn't it just as easy to say that people that attacked police officers should not get taxpayer money from this fund?
Well, look, John, we're not trying to give money to anybody who attacked a police officer. We're trying to give money, we're trying to compensate people where the book was thrown at them, they were mistreated by the legal system. Sometimes, we do have, John, in this country, innocent until proven guilty. We do have people who were accused of attacking law enforcement officers. That doesn't mean that we're going to completely ignore some of the claims that they're going to make. We're going to evaluate these things on a case-by-case basis. And if we think that somebody, whatever they were accused of, if we think that somebody was unfairly prosecuted and deserves just compensation, then that's what this fund is going to exist to provide. It's just going to correct a wrong, and I think that's a good thing. And I'd encourage everybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent, let's turn the page on this thing that we did under the last administration where we tried to throw people in prison because they had the wrong politics. Let's throw people in prison who broke the law. I think this fund is a good part of getting justice for the people who were wrongly treated. Back there, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Just to follow up on that quickly, does that mean that people that were violent, that were convicted, were mistreated? Are you saying that?
Well, you're asking me to comment on hypotheticals and on any number of dozens of cases. Here's the thing. We're going to look at everything case by case. As you know, every single case has its own details. Every single case has, there are things about it that maybe don't meet the eye. We're just going to look at every case by case. That's all I'm saying. I'm not committing to giving anybody money or committing to giving no one money. What I'm committing to is a legal process to review these claims and to make sure that people who are mistreated by their government get a little bit of compensation because of it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Yes, sir. I realize that the pointer finger is not as precise as I thought it was. The guy I have this cheat sheet, but the problem with being 41 years old is I'm blinder than I was a few years ago. So we'll say blue blazer, blue tie. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to ask a quick follow-up on Iran, but first I'd like to ask you about fentanyl. Fentanyl, sourced largely from China, killed about 403,000 Americans over the past 7 years, according to CDC data. That's one in every 850 Americans who died. White House Counterterrorism Director Sebastian Gorka said last week that China's exports amounted to the targeted killing of Americans and war by other means. Do you agree with that assessment? And what is the Trump administration doing to punish and deter China, especially since the Supreme Court struck down the fentanyl tariffs?
So go ahead and ask the second question, because I'll try to take each question and then I'll try to answer them and then we'll go on. And if you ask two questions, I can only guarantee that I'll answer one. In fact, I'm a politician. Maybe I won't even answer the one that you asked. But I will try at least to answer one question.
Okay, well, I'd love to hear the fentanyl response too, if not today sometime.
Go ahead.
On Iran, is Russia taking possession of the enriched uranium in Iran a plausible end to the war? And if not, why not?
So first, on the Russia taking possession of the enriched uranium, look, these things are being discussed through negotiation. That is not currently our plan. That has never been our plan. I've seen some reporting on that. I don't know where it comes from, but the president's going to continue to negotiate a deal. So that is not currently the plan of the United States government. The Iranians have not raised it. My sense is that's not something the Iranians would be particularly excited about, and I know the president isn't particularly excited about it either, but who knows? I'm not going to make pre-commitments in a negotiation on any particular topic. On the question of fentanyl, a lot of people have died from fentanyl, absolutely. A lot of it has come from mainland China. We're certainly aware of that. But here's what I'll say. First of all, we've made incredible strides under Donald Trump's leadership to cut down on fentanyl deaths. If you look at the number of people who died in 2026, it's going to be lower than the number who died in 2025, which is way lower than the number who died in 2024. This is one of the things that I think all Americans, we should be celebrating, and I'm certainly proud of the president's leadership for making this possible. We ran, if you remember, in November of 2024 on a very simple idea that a lot of fentanyl came from East Asia. It was smuggled into Central and South America, and then the cartels would bring it into our country, and a lot of our people would get poisoned and killed because of it. We said if you got control of the southern border, we would see a substantial reduction in the number of people who died from fentanyl overdoses in the United States of America, and that is exactly what's happened. Now, yes, the president has raised this with President Xi any number of times. I know it came up during the meeting that they had in China just last week, but it's come up in any number of phone calls, and our sense is that President Xi has been willing to work with us on this, and obviously we want to continue to ensure that the Chinese work with us as much as possible because we don't want our people to be poisoned. So we'll keep working on that issue with the Chinese. There's been, I think, a big amount of progress that's been made, but of course we can make a lot more progress, and we're certainly going to be committed to doing exactly that. Right. Yeah.
Me?
White jacket, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Natalie with Washington.
Natalie, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Does the government need to create a new mandatory review process for new AI models, given the concerns about Mythos? And secondly, in a few days, Pope Leo is going to release his encyclical on artificial intelligence. What influence, if any, do you see the Pope's guidance on AI having to broader society?
Well, I mean, I think when the Pope issues an encyclical on artificial intelligence, it's going to have some influence. I, of course, don't know how much influence. I don't know exactly what it's going to say. But I think when the leader of the world's largest Christian denomination speaks on an issue like that, it's certainly going to have some influence. And I'm sure it'll contain a lot of insights, some of which I'll probably agree with, some of which I may not. But I think that it's going to be a very, very important document. And I think that, one of the things I always found fascinating about Pope Leo is that he chose the name Leo the 14th, which of course is recollecting Leo the 13th. Leo the 13th was the Pope during a period of incredible industrial transformation in the entire world. Of course, that industrial transformation, according to a lot of people, led to the rise of fascism and communism in Europe. I think it was interesting that Leo the 14th chose that name to maybe apply Christian social teaching in a new era with a new technological innovation in the same way that the Industrial Revolution was the technological innovation of its time. So I think it'll be fascinating. I'm looking forward to reading it. My guess is it's going to have a lot of influence. On the question of what our policy is going to be, look, what we're trying to do in the Trump administration is very simple. The president wants us to be pro-innovation. He wants us to win the AI race against all other countries in the world. He recognizes that AI is going to be an important tool, not just for our economy, but for our military. And so he wants to ensure that we are winning that particular race. We also want to make sure that we're protecting people. We're protecting people's data. We're protecting people's privacy. I think with this Mythos release, one of the things that we're very focused on, of course, is whether not necessarily the developers of Mythos, but whether some other bad actor could use Mythos to target various cybersecurity vulnerabilities. So it's something that right now we're working in a collaborative way with the technology companies, and we're just trying to make sure that the American people are as safe as possible. I'm not going to get ahead of the executive order or any other actions that are going to come out, but we're trying to balance those two things. We want to be pro-innovation. We recognize, artificial intelligence could be great. It could help us find cures to diseases that currently, people are dying from or suffering from. It also does have some downsides, and we're trying to balance that safety against innovation, and we think that we've got the right balance here in the Trump administration, but it's something we're going to have to keep on working on because that's just the nature of these technologies is they certainly change. Let's go. Is that Reagan all the way in the back? Daily Caller? There we go. Okay. I figured out finally how this seating chart works.
I want to ask you about the anti-fraud task force. You previously mentioned that Ilhan Omar seemed to have committed immigration fraud. Do you anticipate an indictment against her, an indictment related to that situation?
Yeah, so Reagan, I don't want to prejudge an investigation. You read the things about Ilhan Omar and about who she married and whether she didn't marry this person or that person. It certainly seems like something fishy is there, but everybody's entitled to equal justice under the laws. So we're going to investigate it. We're going to take a look at it. If we think that there's a crime, we're going to prosecute that crime. And that's something the Department of Justice is looking at right now.
Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, go ahead.
Based on what you've seen during your work on this anti-fraud task force, do you believe anything should change about our immigration or refugee policies to stop fraud in the United States?
Well, yeah. Look, one thing I'd say is that the biggest immigration fraud that existed under the Biden administration, it's not just that they let a flood of people across the southern border. That was obviously a very major problem and something I'm proud of the president for stopping. But it's also that they allowed the asylum and refugee claimant process to become totally fraudulent. And so here's what would happen, right? You would take a person who in normal cases would just be a traditional economic immigrant. Whether you let them into the country or not, they're trying to come because they want a better job, okay? They would come into the country and say that they were fleeing persecution, and they would say that they were an asylum claimant. And then effectively what the Biden administration would do is say, okay, you're an asylee, go into the interior of the country, here's a work permit, maybe come back in 10 or 12 years for your hearing on whether you actually have a legitimate asylum claim. So what did that mean? That meant that person was just completely given amnesty and released into the interior of the country. Well, what if that person was a criminal? What if that person actually had a violent history? We didn't do any of the work necessary to ensure that the people coming into our country claiming to be asylum claimants actually had anything legitimate or anything good in their background. So that is a serious problem. It is something that we have fixed in the Trump administration, but fundamentally that loophole, you're going to see sometime in the future somebody is going to try to exploit that loophole, and it's one of the things that we're very focused on in the fraud task force is making sure that the people who exploited that loophole are actually prosecuted for it, assuming they committed a crime. Yes. So I don't know your name. You have a beautiful cross necklace, though, so go ahead.
Kara Castronovo from Lindell TV. Thank you so much. I have two questions. One of them is going back to the $1.8 billion fund, not to keep beating that, but sadly Democrat lawmakers are misrepresenting that fund.
I agree.
Yes.
It's a great question.
And sadly some of the mainstream media doesn't understand the magnitude of the political persecution of J6ers. So if a violent offender like a J6er was still over-sentenced and mistreated, literally some of them were sentenced to 24 years in prison, put on unconstitutional pre-trial detention, literally tortured in cages, wouldn't that person still be able to apply for the fund because of due process? And
this is why we say, just to answer that very briefly, this is why we say we have to evaluate this thing case by case, right? We don't in the United States say that everybody who's accused of a crime is automatically guilty in a court of public opinion. You've got to actually look at this stuff and figure out what were they accused of. Maybe they did something bad even, but what they were accused of was way worse of what they actually did. Maybe they had their entire lives ruined in a totally disproportionate way. That's fundamentally illegitimate and political. And I find, just Carol, on this point, one of the interesting things about the American media is there is a fascination. If you go to any American law school, there are these, prisoner rights clinic. There are people who objectively committed heinous crimes, but the American media and the American Legal Academy has decided that even though they committed bad crimes, their sentence was disproportionate, they were mistreated in some way. You know who never ever gets an ounce of sympathy when it comes to that disproportionate sentencing is people who voted for Donald Trump and participated in the January 6th protest. Go to your second question.
About Pete Davidson, he made a horrific, obscene joke about the murder of your friend Charlie Kirk. What does this still say about where our political divisions have gone, and what are you specifically doing to bridge the divide, especially as a potential future president?
Well, sorry, who was it that said something?
Davidson made a really obscene joke about Charlie Kirk. So what are you doing as a potential future candidate or president to bridge the divide?
Well, first of all, I'm not a potential future candidate. I'm a vice president, and I really like my job, and I'm going to try to do as good of a job as I can. But let me just say this. So you talked about Pete Davidson, who said something bad about Charlie Kirk. Look, Charlie was a very, very dear friend, but more importantly than that, Charlie was a father of two beautiful kids, and he did not deserve to have all of those moments with his kids, all of those moments with his beautiful wife taken from him in the way that happened. I would expect everybody with a heart or a conscience would say whatever we agreed or disagreed with about his particular viewpoints, this is a tragedy, and it's totally unacceptable that it happens in the United States of America. To their credit, a lot of the reporters in this room, even though I don't agree with their politics, they were open about the fact that what happened to Charlie was disgusting and it shouldn't happen in a civilized country. You talk about bridging the divide. I mean, one thing that happened that hits not quite literally close to home, but there was a very terrible shooting that happened today at a Muslim community center. It seems like 3 people are dead, plus the shooters. And, that community center is actually very close to this restaurant that Usha and I go to every time we visit. Her family lives in San Diego. She was born and raised in San Diego. Every time we go to San Diego, we go to this restaurant that is like maybe a 5-minute drive from this community center. And I found out about it actually on my way to the White House this morning, and I texted her. I said, would you have known anybody who was involved in this? And she said, absolutely, I would have known some people, or at least their parents, who might have actually used the services at this community center. I don't know a single person who would say anything other than what I'm about to say, which is that type of violence in the United States of America is reprehensible, and I encourage every single American to pray for everybody who was involved and affected by it. We don't want that to happen in our country, and may God rest the souls of the people who lost their lives. What I do find a little distressing is that while every person I know, every politically conservative person I know would say exactly what I said about these innocent people who were killed, there were a lot of people who were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And I think one way that we can bridge the divide is just have a very simple principle in this country. Number one, we don't want the government throwing people in prison because they have bad politics, however you define bad politics. Number two, and way more importantly, political violence, wherever it comes from, is unacceptable in the United States of America. Let's talk with one another, not shoot each other when we disagree. I think that's the principle that everybody in this room agrees with. It's certainly the principle the President of the United States agrees with.
Not everybody.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm gonna try to read this here. I'm sorry? Okay. I don't. Okay, that was kind of interesting, so I'm going to give you the question. All right, go ahead.
So last week, the Pentagon halted deployment of 4,000 troops, U.S. troops, to Poland. This is in direct contradiction to President Trump explicitly promised not to reduce the troop level in Poland. So I'm going to ask you this question, which many people in Poland think. Why are you rewarding Putin and punishing your best ally in Europe?
Well, first of all, I'd say there's been no president who's done more, frankly, to ensure that Ukraine survived the invasion of Russia than Donald Trump. As he famously said, Obama gave him sheets, I gave him javelins, and it was those javelins that ensured that Ukraine still has its territorial sovereignty. What he's also said is that he wants to pursue an American policy that focuses on the interests of the United States. And part of that foreign policy is not to reward Putin or not to punish a country like Poland, which we love. We love Poland. We love the Polish people. No. What we're trying to do, what our foreign policy is geared towards, is promoting European independence and sovereignty. We want Europe to take more ownership over its own territorial integrity. We want Europe to step up in a big way. Now, I think you said 4,000 troops. We've not reduced the troop levels in Poland by 4,000 troops. What we did is that we delayed a troop deployment that was going to go to Poland. That's not a reduction. That's just a standard delay in rotation that sometimes happens in these situations. But here's the fundamental problem. Poland is capable of defending itself with a lot of support from the United States. We're not talking about pulling every single American troop out of Europe. We're talking about shifting some resources around in a way that maximizes American security. I don't think that's bad for Europe. That's encouraging Europe to take more ownership. The United States cannot be the policeman of the world. We want to be good allies. We want to make sure that our troop presence promotes regional stability in Europe. The president has not said, though he could, the president has not said that he's taken all of the troops out of Europe, but Europe has to stand on its own 2 feet. And that's something that he's been consistent of, frankly, not even since the beginning of this administration, going back to the first administration, is we have got to have more sovereignty and more of Europe standing on its own 2 feet. That will continue to be our policy in Europe.
Those troops will go eventually to Poland?
What I said is that is it a delay in troop rotation? Those troops could go elsewhere in Europe. We could decide to send them elsewhere. We actually haven't made the final determination about where those troops are ultimately going to go. But what I'm saying is it is not accurate to say that we are pulling a bunch of troops out. It is a very small and very minor thing. And I think, frankly, a lot of the European media, again, is overreacting to this a bit. And here's one thing I'll say about this. Look, I have, for my entire life, I'm 41 years old. For my entire life, I have heard chirping from the European media about everything that's wrong with the United States of America. We don't have this. We don't have that. We don't spend enough on health care, even though part of the reason why we spend so much on defense was because we have tens of thousands of troops in Europe. I think that if the European media wants to attack the President of the United States, they need to start looking in the mirror. All he has said is that we're going to be good allies, we're going to be good friends, we're going to be trading partners, but it is reasonable for Europe to take a little bit more ownership over its continental integrity. Caitlin.
Vice President, I have a question on the war, but just to follow up, you previously told me that anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th should go to prison. So why not rule out giving them taxpayer-funded money?
Well, Caitlin, what I said is we're going to look at everything case by case.
But why not rule it out?
Because, Caitlin, there are people.
Why don't they understand this?
I don't know their individual.
Because it's their operation, dude.
I don't rule things out categorically when I know nothing about a person's individual circumstances. Let's say a person is accused.
They don't want to understand.
Hypothetically, a person is accused of doing something that they never actually did, that they got a kangaroo court, that they had a judge who mistreated them. I think that we should look at those things case by case. We're not making commitments to give anybody money. We're just making commitments to look at things case by case.
I mean, but just to follow up on the war, you last week denied that the president said he was not taking Americans' financial situations into consideration when he's making decisions on the Iran war. He was asked about that again. He stood by it, called it a perfect statement, and said he would make it again. Do you believe that Americans' financial situations should be taken into consideration when you're making decisions as an administration about the war?
See, Caitlin, what you did is you misrepresented the question that I was asked, and then you misrepresented the answer that I gave. What I said is that a question that was asked where the president allegedly said that he didn't care about Americans' financial situations. He never said that. What he said is that it was totally taken out of context. What he said is that when he is negotiating with the Iranians, he's focused on the national security objectives that he's trying to achieve. Of course, the president has a mandate to be focused on a number of things. And I guarantee you, every single day, I have conversations with him about it. Every single day, he's worried about his fellow Americans. He wants them to be prosperous. He wants them to thrive. He wants them to have good jobs. That's why we've done the things and taken the steps that we've taken in order to create record job growth, in order to create record wage growth, in order to induce trillions of dollars of new investment into our country. That's because he cares about that stuff. What he also said is that when he's talking to the Iranians, he's talking to the Iranians about questions, of course, of national security, like their nuclear program. You could hold two thoughts in your head at the same time, that the president cares about financial security for Americans, but also when he's negotiating with the Iranians, he's talking about the issues that are germane to the concerns of that particular conflict.
Going back to the price tag for this DOJ fund, $1.8 billion. You have people that can't afford groceries. Gas is high. People are making sacrifices in their personal lives to accommodate for this rise.
They didn't have to spear the president, lady.
Feel financially worse off. They're very concerned about the uncertainty.
He's suing because of the way the government attacked him.
Money for that fund when people are struggling. What do you say to Americans who wonder why this fund is getting all this money and I can't afford basic life amenities?
Well, let me say a couple things about that. First of all, you said $1.8 billion, and it's important for people to realize we're not just writing a $1.8 billion check. We're going to take a lot of people who are going to apply and say that they have been mistreated by their government. We're going to handle those situations case by case, and if we determine they were in fact mistreated by their government, we think it's reasonable to give them just compensation. But when you talk about funds...
Okay, Shady, so I was censored by CISA and DHS. We might need to apply for this.
I mean, I'm not really exactly sure how we can figure this out, but we were attacked first in all of this for everything that we said.
Yep.
And pots of money that are out there. I mean, thanks to Donald Trump's leadership and the working families tax cut, we put $40 billion into a rural health care fund in order to stop the closure, or at least prevent some closure of rural hospitals and rural clinics that had been decimated under the Biden administration. We had a piece of tax legislation that put hundreds of billions of dollars into the pockets of families. No taxes on Social Security, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips. So I reject the idea that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. We can give just compensation to people who are mistreated by the government. We can also make sure that the American people, we do everything that we can to make their lives better, to make them more prosperous, to give them better jobs. That is the primary focus of Donald J. Trump's White House. That's the question all of us ask every single day is, how do we make our fellow citizens more prosperous? We can do that while also taking care of people who were mistreated by the last administration. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Kurdi, sir. After the ceasefire with Iran, drone and missile attacks on the Kurdistan region have not stopped. That happened yesterday as well. What is your position on this issue, and what do you expect from the new Iraqi government regarding the control of militias?
Well, as you know, you've asked the president this question before, and we certainly love the people of Kurdistan. Anytime that drone attacks or missile attacks are hitting anybody, but particularly civilian populations, that's not something we like to see at all. And it's one of the things that sometimes happens. Unfortunately, these ceasefires, they're not always perfect. We've seen that in Gaza. We've seen that certainly in Iran and some of its neighbors. But we have seen a significant reduction in violence over the last few weeks of the ceasefire. And look, fundamentally, the president's been quite clear. This is going to go, again, in one of two directions. We're going to restart the war, which is not the preference of the president of the United States. We're going to restart the operation, or we're going to strike a deal, and I think that's an important thing. That's what we're focused on, and that's what we're going to keep on working towards. Okay. It is very... Okay. In like the purple, kind of the purple dress there, yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Rowena Ortiz with Turning Point USA. There has been an uptick in religious violence across the country. What's your message to protect people across all faiths in America?
Well, I appreciate that question. Obviously, Turning Points would know a lot about this issue. As we talked about earlier, you guys have been the subject of a fair amount of violence yourself. I guess what I would say is the principle of religious violence is particularly disgusting, especially in the United States of America. And as a devout Christian, I would say it's one of the most anti-Christian things and anti-American things that you could do. And here's why. One, because a fundamental principle of all the great faiths is we are all children of God, and because of that, we are endowed by certain rights that are unique to our status as human beings. You violate those rights, most importantly, when you commit violence against another person. You can violate them in other ways as well, but the most profound way to violate the fundamental right of human dignity is to commit violence. But here's why the religious piece of it is particularly egregious. One of the fundamental American rights that I think came from our Christian heritage as a civilization is the idea that we respect people's religious freedom, in part because we respect them as human beings, but also because we respect their right to find their own pathway to God. You can't force anybody to a pathway to God. They have to, through their own free will, find God themselves. That's one of the reasons why that right of religious freedom is the very first right enshrined in our Constitution. So when you commit acts of violence, you're committing an act against this fundamental idea that people are created in the image of God and that they have the right through their own free will to find God however they might want. And as a Christian, of course, you might have your preference for how they find their pathway to God. They have to find that choice. And anybody who would commit violence against another human being in the name of religion is, I think, doing something that is a violation, of course, of the laws of man, but I think more importantly, it is a fundamental violation of the laws of God. Let me go with. Okay, Garrett, you have your hand up. Garrett,
that's right. That's right. Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Midterms are well underway. You've got voters going to the polls in 6 states today. You and the president ran on a platform that included no new wars, cutting gas prices, cutting inflation. What do you say to the people who are going to the polls today and who feel like those promises are unkept?
Well, I'd say a few things. First of all, we've delivered great wins for the American people. We ran on delivering tax cuts to the American people, which we did, the largest tax cuts in American history. We ran on cutting taxes, particularly on people who were working on overtime, working on tips. We cut taxes for those Americans. We ran on the promise of bringing investment back into the United States of America, that rather than factory closures, we were going to have factories opening. And we've seen both construction jobs and manufacturing, but also manufacturing jobs have great rebounds under the Trump administration and under our leadership. We are very aware that because of what's going on in the Middle East, gas prices have gone up and a lot of Americans are struggling because of that. Our view is that it is a temporary increase. We're taking a number of steps to try to push back against it and try to ensure that Americans are paying as little at the pump as possible. But I feel quite confident after we've taken care of business in the Middle East, those prices are going to come down. And there have been a lot of prices, as you know, a lot of prices from rent to housing, where we still got a lot of work to do, but we do see some real progress made across the economy on pricing, but also on people's jobs. Okay. I have John. I'm going to call on John. I'm just going to start calling John Rosh. Yes. Great to see you too. Thank you.
So Trump initially said that the war would last 6 weeks. It's been going on for 11 weeks and 3 days. What's your message to the American people as to why it's gone on so long and it hasn't ended yet?
Well, first of all, the president said it's going to be a short-term operation, and I think that has proven out to be true. The active period of conflict lasted about 5.5 weeks, and now we've been in this ceasefire where we're trying to get a negotiated settlement that gets the American people the things that we need for our national security. So I've said before that we're going to go one of two options here. We're going to have a good settlement that actually gets the American people what they need, or we're going to go back to a kinetic operation. Obviously, the president prefers to get that settlement. I think the Iranians prefer to get that settlement. But regardless of what direction the president ultimately goes down, whatever he ultimately decides, I think it's important for the American people to know two things. Number one, it will be for their security and their prosperity. That's why we're doing this. And number two, this is not going to be the sort of thing that lasts forever. I think a lot of Americans, especially in my generation,
I'm going to go ahead and end it here. You know, we are doing overtime. We do, you know, a lot of shows. Thank you guys for your support, but we're going to end it here. It is Tuesday. JD's doing a fantastic job, Shady. You know, we really appreciate our vice president stepping up there and into the Viper's den with all these reeing news people, guys.
Yes, we actually do. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the support here today. And matter of fact, thank you for subscribing to Substack. Thank you for downloading the app. We're going to share.
Let me talk about that, Shady.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
So, Substack, MG Show Weekly Recap came out today.
Boom!
Guys did it. You guys did a great job. Trump crushes Iran, seals epic China wins, exposes Soros shadow government, Q proofs everywhere. Guys, get on your Substack right now. It goes with every episode. It really tells you what's going on. It even talks about you guys in chat. APAL Anon and crew drops heart and welcome. Scottish Anon shares original songs. You guys are mentioned in here. Lydia's in here, guys.
I know.
Look at that. This is awesome.
It's because they're part of us. This is.
Yeah, so get over there, get a Substack if you don't have one already. mgshow.substack.com because Shady, we got to start using the same we're using this at MG Show thing. I think it's mgshow.substack.com. Is that correct, Yeti?
Okay. I thought it was the Substack at MG Show.
mgshow.substack.com.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, so let's use that. Okay, we got that. Right. We got that. We're just still trying to figure this out. It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to figure
I'll get on
it
the
out.
right page.
Me too.
I've got a link that I've got here in the browser that I've been moving, so that's the wrong thing to have, and I'll work on that. Thank you.
No, we'll fix it because we want to, yes, there's that one too, Apples. We got it. That will work, Shady. Okay, so substack.com/@MG Show with the at symbol and mgshow.substack.com also works.
Yes, and I wanted to thank the listener for talking about the DVR setting. Rumble has put us into a new studio. And so the buttons and the switches are in a little bit different of a spot. So thanks for letting us know that the current DVR feature isn't working on the video, and we will work to get that fixed also.
All right, so guys, get over to this Substack right here, guys. Let's see, we've got 8 hearts, guys. 9 now.
That's
3
at least
comments and 4 restacks. Guys, get over there. Okay?
Oh, restack it,
please.
Why
get
won't
over
they
there.
restack
Make a comment.
it?
Help our algorithms.
I did not mention Al Gore in that one time.
Well, I did. So there.
You sure did. We'll put it in the headline for you next week.
It's going to be in the notes now. It's going to be all transcribed.
Yes, it's going to be in the Zoom notes. They talked about Al Gore and Al Gore's climate change philosophy.
And by the way, Massey is favored. Poly market, 60% chance of losing.
Oh, well. Oh, by the way, Al Gore doesn't have any rhythm.
Al Gore has a lot of rhythm.
He's got no rhythm.
Come on now.
I'm just saying.
There's a song, Al Gore's got a rhythm. No, that was something else. All right, guys, open the straight or I will. A little reggae vibe for Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all.
Open the straight.
Open the straight.
I'm just saying.
I will.
Or he's going to do it. Thank you, guys. Let's build something better.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The straits on mine, ships backed up heavy, that's a bad headline. They said, sir, be careful, I said, watch me go. I run the pressure game, I just steal the show. 48 hours, yeah, I set the clock. You either open up or I rock the dock. People call it risk, I call it a deal. Big moves only, that's just how I feel. Open the straight or I will. Big ships moving, you know the drill. Push one button, overkill. Nobody does it like me. Nobody will, nobody will. Open the straight, be smart. You don't want the second part. Lights go out, engine stop. When I go big, I hit the top. I hit the top, yeah. Oh, they talk tough online, yeah, I've seen it before, but they fall real quick when I raise the score. All caps typing, yeah, I mean every word, say it loud enough. nobody does it like me. Nobody will, nobody open the straight. Be smart, you don't want the second part. Lights go out, engine stop. When I go big, I hit the top. I hit the top. Tick-tock, clock don't wait. I decide the final stage. Say my name, dominate every move. I escalate, they said no. I said watch, flip the switch, tighten the notch. World stage, stand the spot. I take everything, you go open the straight, or I will. Big ships moving, you know the drill. Push one button, overkill. Nobody does it like me. Nobody will, nobody open the straight. Be smart, you don't want the second part. Lights go out, engine stop. When I go big, I hit the top. Open the straight, or I will. Big ships moving, you know the drill. Push one button, overkill. Nobody does it like me. Nobody will, nobody open the straight. Be smart, you don't want the second part. Lights go out, engine stop. When I go big, I hit the top. I hit the top.
Oh, yeah. Open the straight or I will. www.mg.show. Boom.